Polynomial is something with many terms. It could be just a 2, 2x squared plus 20x plus 4, okay? So when we're adding and subtracting polynomials, I would definitely say the adding is easier than the subtracting just because you're working with negatives. And I did separate them all by parentheses. So the rule is, okay, and it's kind of essentially, and that's why I said it should be pretty easy, just combining like terms, okay? So because this is plus, this is just saying plus whatever. And so really what this does is kind of just cancel the parentheses, okay? I'm going to write this one out the long way, but it's really just 5b minus 7 minus 3b3 plus, that plus goes with that 7, minus 8b minus b squared, okay? All I did was get rid of the parentheses. That's it, okay? Now we look at it and say, well, what can we combine? And you do need to have these in standard form. So what is our highest exponent up there? 3. Okay, is there any other 3s? No. And so we can go ahead and write this one down. There's nothing else to go with it. Okay, well, what's our next highest exponent up there? B2. Okay, so is there any other B2s? No. So you're going to say minus B2. Okay, and then what would come next? Just B's. Okay, and so we can combine negative 8b and 5b. Okay, well, what is 5 minus 8? Negative 3b. Okay, and then last always comes that constant, okay, which is just the number. So you can put the plus 7 and the minus 7, and what is that going to give you? 0, okay? Do you need to write the 0? No. Can you? Yes. Okay. But that's how they should all look, is in that standard form of order, okay? Going from highest exponent to lowest exponent. Okay, and so really you don't even need to write these all out, okay? So if we look at number 3, we're adding them, okay? So don't go working too far. Okay, we're adding them. What is the highest exponent? Negative 7m4. Are there any other m4s? Okay, nope, there's no other m4s. So we got minus 7m4. Okay, what about m3s? Yeah, okay, what is this one? What is this one? Okay, if there's no number in front of it, what number is in front of it? A 1. So this has a 1 and this has a 1. So I'm going to get a positive 2m3. Okay, and then what? Plus 7m2. And then what? Okay, do we have any just plain m's? No. Okay, so then lastly we got a coefficient, which is plus 8 minus 1. What's that going to give me? A plus 7. Okay, look at 5. What's our highest exponent? Yeah, so I can say A4, so I got a positive 7 and a positive 1. So what's that going to give me? 8 A4. Okay, and my suggestion to you to keep this nice and neat, whatever, okay, would you underline them, cross them off once you've used it, something to let you know that those ones are already used. Okay, and then what? What's going to come next? The A's. Okay, so I got negative 4A and 1A. What's that going to give me? Negative 3A. Okay, and then lastly I have my coefficient. So negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So this one is done. Okay, 7, what's my highest exponent? 4. Okay, so I can combine this 1 and this negative 3. What's that going to give me? Negative 2k4. Okay, and then I have plus 5k3 plus 3k2. And then I'm going to have a plus 1k. Okay, 9 is still the addition ones, okay? What's our highest exponent? B2. So I can say a plus 5 and a plus 2. What's that going to give me? 7b2. Okay, and then what's my next highest exponent? B. So I got a 3b and a 2b. 5b. And then I got a 7 and a 2. So that's going to give me a 9. Okay, flip it over. 11 is a subtraction one. How can you tell it's subtraction and not addition? Yeah, there's a subtraction sign in between those two parentheses, okay? So it's important to know whether you're doing addition or subtraction because there's a difference, okay? So for the first one, I'm going to do the long way, okay? So when we do the addition, and I'm going to go back to this first one that I did. Okay, so there's a plus sign in between those two parentheses, okay? Well, how we get rid of those parentheses, they essentially just cancel, but what happens is there's really a 1 right here in front of this parenthesis. Well, what is 1 times positive 7? 7, which is what I got here. 1 times negative 8. Negative 8. 1 times negative 1, okay, because there's a 1 right there, is negative 1, which is b squared, okay? Essentially, you need to do the same thing with the subtraction, okay? Now, there's a cheater way, but for the first case in being, okay, so nothing is going to happen with the front set of parentheses. We're going to write those down. 7m minus 6 minus 5m squared. Okay, for the second set, we're going to have negative 1 times 8. Negative 8m. Negative 1 times negative or positive 4.
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Negative 1 times a positive 4. It's going to be negative 4m squared. Okay, now look at what happened from here to here. What changed? All of the signs changed. Okay, the positive 8 became a negative 8. The positive 4s became negative 4s. Okay, they're going to change. Okay, and that's what's important to know. So, because if you just do it like the addition, you're going to get none of the right numbers. Okay, so there are cheater ways, and we'll do it on the next one. But if you need to do it the long distributive way, that's totally fine, and it typically works better for long term. Okay, so now if you're looking at this, you would combine it just like you do the addition now, okay? But you have to distribute that negative first. So we can put together what? What are we putting together first? M2s. Okay, so negative 4 and negative 5 is going to give me negative 9 M2. Okay, and then I can put together what comes next. The M's. So negative 8 and a positive 7 is going to give me negative 1M. Okay, and then lastly I can put together that negative 6 and that negative 4 to give me a negative 10. Okay, the next one I'm going to do the cheater way. Rather than distributing, we already know that the first set of parentheses just stays the same. Okay, from the second set, you know that every sign changes. So right now, as it currently stands, is this a positive 7 or a negative 7? If there's no sign in front of it, what is it? It's positive. So it's going to be a negative 7. Okay? This one we know has a plus, so it's gonna be a negative. This one you know it has a plus, so it's gonna be a negative. Okay? We just changed all of these signs just like you did up here. Okay, now if there's already a negative there, like on this one, if this is already a negative 8, what's the new one gonna be? Positive 8. Okay, so that's the cheater way. However, there's not much difference of putting a 1 here and doing it on your calculator and thinking. Okay, it works the same. Okay, and then we look at this and say, okay, well, what can we combine? Well, I can combine this 2 and the negative 1 to give me 1x squared. And the negative 5 and negative 7 is going to give me what? Negative 12x. And then I have a positive 7 and a negative 7 is going to give me 0. Okay, so look at 15. Is that addition or subtraction? Addition. So we're just going to add them all up. Okay, which ones are we adding first? The 4. Okay, M4. So I got 4 plus 3. It's going to give me 7M4. Okay, and then I'm going to combine all my M3s. And there's just one of them. The M2s, there's no M2s. Okay, so then next comes just M's. And then our coefficients. Or not our coefficients, okay, are just numbers. So negative 6 and 4 is going to give me a negative 2. Okay, 17, is that addition or subtraction?
Subtraction.
Subtraction, so we're going to get 3R3 plus 5R4 minus 2R. Okay, what is our first number going to be in the second set?
R4.
Negative 2R. And then what?
Positive 6.
Positive 6R. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Those are Patty questions because like I don't know what she has planned. No, but like we're trying to like change the math curriculum and she doesn't let any of us know what we're changing. You know what I mean? So like I don't know. I haven't talked to Jana last time I talked to her. She was like saying right. We need to figure out about the credits and how we do this. So like I don't know. That would be a Jana or Patty question to see if we're even doing that. To keep it. And I told her, like, I would like to have, and I don't know if it's gonna look like a finish line group or, you know, just between you, but I would like to have 2 classes of sophomores, like I do now, a class of juniors and a class of seniors, to where it's sped kids, kids, and essentially so that decided to do that or not. I would have Hanson in here for those classes, you know, they could work on some credits and kick one up on some more, but I'm not sure what she's thinking. I know, Curtis talked about doing some sort of junior program, so that's kind of. Yeah, so plus 6R, 3, and a plus 2R4. Did I do that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so then I'm gonna get 7R4. What am I gonna get for the R3s? 9R3. And negative 4R. Okay, and then 19 is also subtraction, so we're gonna say minus. Okay, what's my first one looking like? What's it gonna be? In the second set of parentheses, what's my first one gonna look like?
Negative 2x.
Negative 2x4.
Negative 7x3.
Negative 7x3.
Plus 5x.
And a positive 5x. Okay, and then we're ready to put stuff together. So I got a negative 2, and a negative 2 is going to give me negative 4x4. I got 2x3s, so I'm going to get a negative 13x3. And a positive 5x. And a plus 3.